Alright, guys. Yesterday I wrapped on 007 First Light, and honestly, this might be in contender for my game of the year as of right now because I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed myself while playing this game a lot more than I thought I would originally, and that shocks me because I'm not a big 007 fan. Like the movies or the property itself. Like I've seen, I've played when I was a kid. I played GoldenEye with and I only played the multiplayer. I've never even played the single player of that game. I've only played like the Golden Gun game mode because I thought that shit was awesome as a kid playing with my siblings and cousins. That shit was fun as fuck. Apart from that, I know nothing about 007 as a property. I think I've seen part of Skyfall, never the full movie, and that's the only movie I've seen. Like Daniel Craig, I believe, as his run as James Bond had 5 movies, and I've seen like 10 minutes of one of his movies, and that's it. I do want to watch the Daniel Craig movies eventually because I like Daniel Craig as an actor, but anything before that, like the ones from like this, like I think it was like the 70s or 60s onward, I haven't seen any of them. I know a lot of people like the Pierce Brosnan ones. Never even seen them. I know that the last one of his is kind of ridiculous. That's all I've heard people talk about for those. So I didn't understand or get a lot of the Easter eggs or references that were in this. In fact, I streamed the first like 2 hours of me playing this game before I went and played it on my own because I was super addicted, and there's a lot of characters and names that are reoccurring James Bond characters. I believe Moneypenny, Q, M, those are all characters that have been in every iteration of James Bond, and me not being a big James Bond fan, I had no fucking idea. I was like, I could tell based off their name. I was like during the stream, I was like, Chad, is it these people that are like reoccurring Bond characters? Because I was like, Moneypenny's not a I was like Q. I was like, come on, these are pretty easy. I like to guess, but everything else, no idea. There's probably tons and tons of Easter eggs for a long time James Bond fans in here, and they probably all went over my head. And the Steam achievements though had me laughing because one of them, like I said, I know the names of a lot of James Bond films, and one of them was literally Skyfall. One of them was Casino Royale, like Shaken Not Stirred. Like I get those references. Obviously, I know a lot of the more common ones that a lot of people quote, like the Bond, James Bond, stuff like that. And I know like the opening sequence where like it has running down, like he's walking down the gun barrel and then turns the camera and fires. Like everyone knows that. Like I knew all of the surface level stuff. Anything deeper than that, no fucking clue. I'm just not that big of a James Bond guy. I just never grew up watching the movies. I'm pretty sure my parents have watched the Daniel Craig ones. Maybe they've watched the other ones. No idea. I've never seen any of them, though. I do eventually want to get around to that just because I've heard Skyfall is good. I heard, I think from what I remember, Daniel Craig has a good movie, bad movie, good movie, bad movie, good movie. So that'll be interesting to finally go back and watch. But enough about the movies. They were talking about the game. So here we are, James Bond, 007 First Light. I'm going to start with the story. So this will be a spoiler-ish review. I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers on the story, just overall broad topics, but I'm just going to say spoiler in case I forget and accidentally spoil the game. So I'm going to say this is the spoilers. But I enjoyed the story. I know a lot of people online are saying they didn't really like it. I don't know. It worked for me. I wasn't expecting this game to be like an origin story for James Bond. I thought we were going to play as an already established super spy, but color me surprised when like the first 5 chapters are like his first missions ever being a spy, and the game ends. Like, he doesn't even become 007 until the end of the game. That's literally like the last line. He's like, I was the 7th recruit, and he's like, all right, 007. Boom, game ends. Like I was not expecting that. I thought that was going to happen much earlier, but I enjoyed that. As someone who is not familiar with the property, as stated, this was an interesting way to tell a story because I was like, I don't know anything about James Bond, so I'm being introduced to these characters and world right off the bat, and I like how this is a younger James Bond, but he's not like this is him starting off in his career, but he's not like, they didn't make him like an idiot. Like he still knows what he's doing. He still is smart and competent, and he's just trying to prove himself to the people around him. Like that worked for me. And my major probably gripe was probably the last boss. The final boss really wasn't my favorite, as it's just not much of a boss fight. But other than that, I enjoyed the story. I liked the side characters, Moneypenny, Q, M, Greenway. I thought the villains were fine. I didn't think they were spectacular. I thought they were just fine. Other than that, not much else I could say say about the story without super spoilery, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought the twists were cool. And now on to what really had me addicted to this game, which was the gameplay. Now, I absolutely loved this gameplay. The hand-to-hand combat was so fun and addicting that there are times where I just threw stealth out the window because I just wanted a full-out brawl. And I saw someone online refer to this as like bar fighting, and it's 100% correct, because you can grab someone, you can chuck bottles at them, stun them, chuck them over railings. The stuff you can do in this game and interact with the environment in terms of combat is absolutely insane. There was one mission where I ran out of ammo, threw a gun at somebody, boom, picked up their gun, shot them in the head. Some guy came up behind me, shot his foot, then spear tackled them over the edge onto the lower platform where there were more enemies, and then more fighting ensued. It was some of the stuff you can do in this game in terms of fighting is so cool and fun that there are times where I'm just like, fuck stealth, and I just went full on gun ho, fisticuffs, fighting my way through the level, and I had so much fun. You die really easily. I played on a harder difficulty, and I died in fucking 2 hits to 1 hit, especially in the later end of the game, where enemies are more armored and heavily packing just weaponry. I died a lot easier, but it was so much fun just to be able to just go fisticuff. I turned the game into the Raid, basically. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie. But it was so fun. And I also, another part of the gameplay I liked was the open segments where you could gather hints and approach a task in many different ways. That was very Hitman-esque, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed the open-ended sections of levels. And I like the level structures because, it mainly start off with open-ended level. You gather clues, solve mysteries, and different multiple ways that you can. And then as you get near the end of the level, it just becomes fucking full-on action sequences where you're riding planes, punching people in the wings of planes, diving out. I thoroughly enjoyed the level structure because you get the beginning where you do a bunch of spy work. Thoroughly enjoyed it, distracting people. The NPCs in this game are really stupid. I will give that as a gripe. You could easily just go up, laser them in the fucking eyes, and then pickpocket them, and boom. They have none the wiser of what just happened. But other than that, I think I like the open-ended sandbox levels. I wish there was a little bit more and they were a little longer. There's only one level I can think of where I thought it was utilized to its fullest potential, which was, I think, the docking area, where you find Lenny Kravitz. Because you need to gather $100,000, and there's 100 different ways you could do that. The way I did it on my story was I went and fought in a fight tournament, and then I stole someone's crypto wallet and climbed a cell tower to get the money. Boom, 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 boom. And while I was exploring, there was many different people talking about, I guess you find many different NPCs and so many different leads, and I didn't follow those because I wanted to do the fight club and I wanted to do the crypto wallet because that was funny. But there was so much replayability in terms of what you could do, and that was very intriguing. In terms of levels, that's mainly how they are. You got the sandbox, and then you got the action sequences, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And there was only one mission I didn't really like towards the end of the game, where you could tell it was kind of padding, because it's just a bunch of puzzle solving, and it's a bunch of tedious puzzle solving personally. And I just was getting kind of I could in my mind it was this is just padding. But immediately it comes back to bombastic action and the vehicle sequences. This game has vehicle sequences and I thought they were fun. I wish they were more frequent and more bombastic. Like you have a car chase at the end of one of the earliest missions, and then that's pretty much it. Other than that, you get to use like giant vehicles of mass destruction, just rain hell upon the enemies. And then at the very end, you get access to something I wish we got access to in a more open vehicle segment, because it was so cool and it felt nice to control, but we only got access to it for like 5 seconds in the last mission. And that sucks, but I hope in the next game they do more of the vehicle segments, because I thought they were fun, but they were just too few and far between to like thoroughly be enjoyed. But other than that, the acting is great, except for this game also has like a bunch of weird cameos, because of course I mentioned Lenny Kravitz plays like the Pirate King in one of the episodes. I ran in that same like chapter, I ran into Shroud the streamer, and he like and then like one of the earliest chapters you run into Jacksepticeye, and then you run into Kabi LeMay in one of the later chapters, and it's like, what, there's so many cameos in this game. It's just like, what the fuck? And it kind of took me out, because I know these people. Like when Jacksepticeye was talking, I was like, that's literally just Jacksepticeye. Or when Shroud was like, dude, that's awesome, I was like, that's literally just Shroud. Like it was kind of distracting at points. The Kabi LeMay one is a little distracting because he did his signature like point with his hands, but other than that, he didn't like speak. But I could still recognize him. But bunch of weird cameos. They kind of took me out, but not as like I'm not gonna knock the game for it. It wasn't that bad. They were like very few and far between, but there was still a lot of them for me to notice. But other than that, acting was really good. I don't remember off the top of my head who played James Bond, but as a young version of James Bond just starting out, thought the performances were great. Really liked the characters. As someone who's never seen any James Bond material ever, I liked Moneypenny, I liked M, I liked Q. I like how he was like this cool old scientist dude like that. I don't know, maybe a lot of James Bond fans won't like that. Maybe they changed around the characters a lot more. But as someone who's experiencing these characters and story for the first time, thoroughly enjoyed them. Apart from that, the Lana Del Rey song that started the game wasn't a big fan of. In terms of like, I've heard a lot of James Bond themes. I've heard the one, of course, for Skyfall. I've heard the one for No Time to Die, because I don't think those are absolutely immaculate songs. And personally, just didn't think it worked that well for me, because I just didn't find it as good. I don't want to say it's a bad song, but it personally just wasn't my taste. But yeah, highly recommend picking up this game. It's super fun just for the combat alone, bro. Just for the fucking combat alone. The story might not be everyone's cup of tea. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that's their least favorite part. I don't know. I enjoyed it as someone who's never experienced anything James Bond before. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Thoroughly enjoyed the story, the combat, the characters. I don't know. All of it jived well with me. And I got to give it a huge thumbs up, because right now it might be in runner for my game of the year. And that's very surprising to say, because I love Resident Evil 9. I thought Resident Evil 9 was epic. Great. And I liked it so much, I literally sat down and do a review after I beat it. Like, I rapped on it yesterday. I've never done that. It took me like 2 years to make the Hollow Knight review after I completed it. And I'm still working on the Silksong review. I promise it's coming. I promise it's almost here. I just that game, I have so much to say about that game and how much I love it that it's taking forever. I have to go back and record a lot because I didn't stream or record during the game, so I don't have any footage. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this quick little me glazing 007 First Light. If you guys did enjoy, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, all that good shit. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Bye bye.